what is data science, why there is so much demand of data science in industry, what are the various sectors and areas where data scientists are needed, what are the various roles that are offered to the data scientist, what are the skills you actually require to become data scientist, and the last but very important, that how you can actually build a strong profile and how you can actually create opportunity for yourself. So let us first discuss about you. Most of you must have search or Google about what is data science, and you might have come across this word which or this study or review which talks about that data scientists are ranked #1 in the world. And you must have seen this study, Harvard Business Review study, which says that data scientists are someone, they are high ranking professional having a very skilled training, and they have curiosity to make discoveries in the world of big data. And there is one statistic report also that says that there will be around 11.5 billion jobs openings by 2026. According to the studies, right now, artificial intelligence and data science has the brightest future. And you should actually work in this area. You should actually gain some expertise in this area. Why I'm saying this? Because after US country, India is becoming the second largest country who are hiring data scientists in a huge number. There are many top companies from various sectors. You talk about IT, you talk about telecom, you talk about retails, you talk about banking. Many sectors are there who are looking for data scientists, and for that purpose there is a very huge demand of data scientists in industry. Now, why there is so much of demand of data scientists in the industry? Because of the data. We call data as a new oil for the business. And why this is happening? Because there is exploration of the data. You can say that because of the digitization that is leading to digitalization. What does it mean? Looking at the current scenario, you might have understood that many businesses, they want to go online, they want to see their business online, because that is the only solution right now in the current scenario, where they can online and they can sell their product, they can make their business, and that creates a lot of data through the internet, over the internet. Sorry, there is a study that shows that around 2.5 quintillion bytes of data that is being produced every day on the internet. You can imagine the amount of data that has been uploaded on the internet, the amount of photos that are shared, the amount of emails that are shared, the amount of text that is shared. So there is a lot of data. And if you cannot make sense of that data, if your business is not able to use that data in an efficient way, it is not going to help in any way for that business to grow. And if you want your business to grow in a way, so you will have to use this data in a very efficient way. And recently I have come across this word which says data is an oxygen now for every business. So if a business wants to actually survive in the competition, it has to understand that data has become oxygen for them, and they have to utilize this data in a very efficient way. And talking about exploration of data, you can say there are a number of cloud services which provide you with the service of storing that data, to process that data. So why not to use this data in an efficient way? And for that purpose, every industry, every sector is hiring data scientists to work with this data. So let's talk about the definition of data science. So it says that it is an interdisciplinary field that uses statistics, process, algorithms, and systems to extract valuable insights from the data. Now, in simple term, you can just divide this this terminology into two words. One is data, other is science. So I have data with me, of the entire business data with me, and I am performing some science. Now, what do you mean by science here? So science is something which is, we can call as performing experiments, right? So you want to perform experiments with the data. Why you performing experiments with the data? To get some valuable insights. You want to actually find out what this data is trying to tell me, what this data is trying to tell me about my business, and I want to analyze that. And for that purpose, I have a data scientist who will help me to understand this thing. Now there is, you might have heard about many other words that are used interchangeably with data science, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, etc. So we can say that data science uses the concepts of artificial intelligence to process the data. So it is not entire artificial intelligence, but yes, it uses the concept of data to get those valuable insights from the data. And it is much more than that, because then there will be mathematics, there will be statistics, there will be analysis of data. So there is much more than that. But yes, data science uses the concepts of data. And that is why we say that data science is something which is the intersection of all these areas. You talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about machine learning, you talk about deep learning, everything is used in data science to make certain valuable, to extract certain valuable information from the data. So in short, data science is what? An area which manages, manipulates, extracts, interprets knowledge from the tremendous amount of data. Okay. Now, why actually we need this data science? So this is very important for you to understand why there is so, why we need to apply data science. So now data science is used to solve the business problem. Now, if you will be hired in a company as a data scientist, what will happen? That company will give you their business problem. They will tell you the challenges they are facing, they will tell you the problems they are facing, and they will tell you to solve those problems. What you have to do, you have to use your intelligence, your data intelligence into it. You have to convert that business problem into data science problem. Data science is something that is used to solve a business problem, right? So what you basically do, you might perform some computation on the data, you might analyze the data in a way by which you predict something. Now here in this diagram, it is pretty much clear. I hope you understand this. Data science is branched out in three directions. That means data science, something related to analytics, data science is something related to machine learning, and data science is related to deep learning. And here, if you consider these two things, that is machine learning and deep learning together, it makes artificial intelligence. And that's why I said data science uses the concepts of artificial intelligence. Now, when we say data science is branched out in three ways, first is data analytics, which is mostly focused on descriptive analytics. And second is machine learning predictive. Now, what we do in data analytics, a company might give me a sales data. They might tell me that find out how this data is working, because we did some marketing campaigning, and I want to know that how that campaigning has affected my sales data. So you just tell me whether it is, giving some profit or not, whether we are going in positive or negative. That is something you are finding out through the data by performing data analytics, right? So that there is this data with you, you're performing some statistic on that to analyze the data, that how it is working. Next branch is machine learning. You go in detail, you go in further by predicting something. So I might give you a data of my organization. I show you that this is what happening in my business. And now you tell me what is going to happen in my business. That is nothing but machine learning. So data science, first thing you analyze that what is happening in the company. Second thing, you apply machine learning to find out what is going to happen in the company, right? So you actually predict, you forecast, or you try to find out certain trends in our business, right? So that is nothing but you're applying machine learning into data science. And where deep learning will come? Deep learning will come in those problems where you have a very large database or very complex database, and there are some limitations of machine learning algorithms, you can say, which can be overcome by deep learning, applying deep learning concept. So basically deep learning will be applied on the problems which handles complex data and a very large data. That in that case we go for deep learning. So data science, why we are applying? We are solving a business problem by performing some statistical computation and analyzing the data. Next, what we do, we predict future predictions. We do some future predictions. Why we do future predictions? Because I might have to perform some strategic planning, or I have to make some changes in my marketing strategy, which is going to affect my company's bottom line. And last thing, which is very important, and most of the industries which are connected with the customers, they actually want to understand their customers. They actually want to understand how their customers are behaving, what are their behaving patterns, what are the purchase patterns, and to analyze that, data science is needed. So that is why we use data science in all the sectors, in all the businesses. So you can call data science as a very broad term. It is considered as a very broad term, and it is like an ecosystem which is branched out in three areas, as I said. And to become a data science, one has to excel in these areas. Talking about these three areas, one is the person should be good in computer science and IT. Second, the person should be good with mathematics and statistics. And third is the person should be good with domain knowledge and business knowledge. That you should have some fundamental knowledge, fundamental basics of programming. Have some fundamental concepts of programming, and you should be good with algorithms. And I'm pretty much sure that every engineer in his first years, he understands about the basics of programming through C language. Second is maths and statistics. Now, most of you must be, thinking of, do we need to be mathematics or statistician to become a data science? So it is not at all like that. You should at least be average with maths and statistics, because there are certain concepts that you will be using in the algorithms to implement certain functionalities or techniques. And for that purpose, you might be using the concepts of maths and statistics in the program. Third, which is a core importance to data science, that is domain knowledge or business knowledge. Now, talking about domain knowledge or business knowledge, this will come with the experience, I will say, and this depends on how much interest you have in a particular sector. For example, I say I'm interested in healthcare. I want to drive certain changes in the healthcare. So I might find out certain techniques by which I can drive those changes in those businesses. So I might work on a particular domain in a particular business area where I am interested in. So you have to analyze that. You have to analyze your area of interest. So this is, I hope it is clear that to become a data scientist, you have to be good in three things. One is you should have a good programming knowledge. At least you should have a fundamental knowledge of programming. Second, you should be good with maths and statistics. That means certain things you'll have to actually revise to understand data science. And third thing, it talks about domain knowledge and business knowledge. That talks about a particular area where you are going to apply that knowledge. Okay, so the basic foundation to become a data science is which is the core to the data science is data analytics. So if you are going for a particular job which asks for data scientists, and you cannot run away from data analytics. So that is the basic requirement to become a data science. You should know data analytics. And data analytics, it is related to, as I said, what is already happening or what has already happened. You want to analyze that. How will you analyze that? By using the concepts of statistics. And that is why I said that you should be good in maths and statistics, because there are certain concepts that you will apply on the data to understand about the data. So here you might have to summarize the data, you might have to consolidate the data, you might have to perform aggregation on the data, and you might create certain reports, you might visualize your data to understand that what is actually happening in my business. And for that purpose, start revising your concepts of statistics, where you have to understand what do you mean by descriptive statistics and what do you mean by inferential statistics. You can just note it down so that you can at least start prepare from today only, that what actually you will need to become a data science and how you can actually start. So the first thing is you have to be good in data analytics, and what you are going to do for that, you will start revising your concepts of statistics. So you can find some pretty good tutorials on the internet where you can just search about data statistics for data science, and there are pretty good tutorials which will help you to understand how the statistics can be helpful in analysis. So as I said, statistics will be required to analyze the data. So basically, right, I want to find out what is the central tendency of my data, which if you might be knowing about it, like how to find mean, median, mode, how to find standard deviations, how to find variances, how to get interquartile range, 5-number summaries. And there are a lot of things that you'll actually need to revise to understand about the data and to process the data. So this is important. Along with the basic algebra, you'll have to learn certain formulas that will help you to summarize the data. I hope it is clear. The second foundation for data science is machine learning. Now, as I said, machine learning will help you to predict something. It will help you to create a predictive modeling on the data sets. So there are two ways. One is to predict like on the basis of what you already have in your history, the data set that you perform some operation on data and you try to predict that what is going to happen. So for example, if I have certain information about say for the last 6 months I have information about say temperature, humidity, whether it was windy or not. On that basis I might have classification that that day it was rain and some other day it was not rain. So I have certain thousand of samples which are already classified as whether it rained that day or it did not rain that day. So while by analyzing that data, I'll try to predict that whether tomorrow or day after tomorrow or for next 6 months, whether there will be rain or not. That is something called as prediction. Now, prediction also depends upon how much accuracy you have in those predictions. So that is also important. So this is nothing but machine learning where you perform some prediction by having some data, already historical data you have, you perform some analysis on data, you generate certain rules and you predict for the future. Now, what you need to understand or what you need to do to become good in machine learning. So the very first thing that you did is for the data analytics, you have to revise your concepts of statistics. Now, to understand the concepts of machine learning, what you'll have to do is get your hands on probabilities and linear algebra, because these are the two concepts that are going to be used in machine learning a lot. So you'll have to understand all the basic concepts of probabilities that you might have studied in your school times, in your engineering times, all those head and tail or true false, dice rolling problem. Here also one more thing you'll have to understand in probabilities, you'll have to learn about the conditional probability. As like I say that something is going to happen if something is given. For example, I say today it will rain given the humidity is this much. So that is nothing but a kind of conditional problem, and you'll have to study such kinds of problem because it is going to help you in machine learning fundamentals, where in one of the techniques you will be using probability or maximum likelihood functions to solve your machine learning problems. Along with probabilities, you'll have to get your ideas clear about the linear algebra. So most of you must have studied linear algebra in your first year and second year engineering, where you must have studied about scalar values, vector values, matrices, and various operations you perform on these concepts, right? So you'll have to revise these concepts because that will help you a lot to understand about the machine learning algorithms. Now, once you clear with these mathematical concepts for machine learning, you have to understand about the basic fundamentals of machine learning. Now, machine learning is divided into three parts: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So that is what you have to understand, that what do you mean by supervised learning, or what do you mean by unsupervised learning, or what do you mean by reinforcement learning. So when you talk about supervised learning, there are various problems or there are various concepts that we apply on the data sets to classify something. So like take an example of classification, right? Or take an example of prediction. I have a data set with information about say houses, that what kind of house it is, whether it is 2 BHK, 1 BHK, what is the square area, size of the house, how many rooms are there, in which area it is located, and many other factors. And on that basis I am having certain value related to that house, right? So certain samples I have in which I have the description about various houses and their price. What I will use this information to predict cost of some new house. So if any other unseen sample comes, I will try to predict the cost of that house by looking at the historical data. That is called a supervised learning. You already have some labeled classes with you or labeled samples with you. You use those samples to classify some unseen sample. That is supervised learning. Second concept is unsupervised learning, which mostly uses unlabeled data. I have a data, but there is no classification of that. So what I do, I perform some clustering to find out these different clusters in that data. It mostly used in customer segmentation. So I have say in my banking data, I have information about various customers. What I will do, I will perform some unsupervised learning concepts on that data. So I might go for a clustering algorithm which will give me clusters of customers. So I can actually think of performing some target marketing on those customers, that this particular group will be given this kind of deal or this kind of offers in that way. So that is nothing but unsupervised learning. And third part is reinforcement learning. That means a machine which is learning from its own experiences. So these are some of the fundamental concepts in machine learning that you will have to revise to understand about machine learning, and you will have to get your hands on the algorithms that are used in machine learning. So you can always start with some basic algorithms like classification, clustering, association mining, and which are the algorithms that are used in these areas that will help you to analyze the data. So like in classification, we go for decision tree, we go for Bayesian networks, which will help you to classify your data samples. There is then clustering, in which you perform k-means clustering, k-medioids, agglomerative clustering, that will help you to understand how you can get the clusters from the large amount of data. And then there is an association mining, which helps you to find out the correlation between the items. So that is mostly that is applied mostly on retail businesses, where you want to actually find out group of products which correlates with each other. So that is nothing but machine learning, association mining. So you'll have to revise certain concepts in machine learning, which will help you to make your foundation for data science. Third part is you'll have to make your concepts clear with deep learning. Now, as I said, deep learning will be useful in area where you want to work on the complex problems. Complex problems, or I'll say large problems, large data sets, because there is a limitation of machine learning algorithm. They cannot work on a very large data sets or not on a complex problem. Take an example of an image. If I give image to a deep learning algorithm, it is quite accurate to give the prediction that what kind of image it is as compared to the machine learning algorithm, because deep learning concepts uses multiple layers through which that image goes, and automatically the feature extraction works on that image to find out that which kind of image it is. Whereas in machine learning, you have to manually feed the variables and their values or the characteristics of the feature, that this might be the edges of the face, or this might be the color, this might be the background color, or whatever it is. So you are feeding the features to the machine, and then machine is predicting. So what is more accurate? Something which is the machine itself is doing to extract the feature, and that is nothing but deep learning, especially for those problems which are large scale data sets or complex problem. And if you're working on big data, then definitely you are always going to go for deep learning. But I will personally suggest you to first get your concepts clear with data analytics, and second get your concepts clear with machine learning, and then only start with a deep learning concept. And these three together will give you a very strong foundation to enter into the field of data science. Now, what you need to understand in deep learning, so along with the statistics, probabilities, linear algebra, the fourth thing that you will need to understand in deep learning is calculus. So you'll have to study about calculus. Now, what is calculus? It is the study of constant change. That means if the value is constantly changing, how your solution is going to adapt that constant change, and how it can be in sync with that constant change. And you can just note it down, this website, that is 3 blue 1 brown website, which is a very good website for you to get an idea about calculus, and also for the neural networks, because deep learning works with the neural network concepts. So there is a neural network, layers of networks, which processes that data in a hierarchical manner, and it extracts the feature, and then it tries to predict what kind of outcome it will give. So in that way, to understand about neural network and to understand about the calculus, I hope you will note it down somewhere, that 3 blue 1 brown website is a very good website for you to understand about deep learning concepts. Now, once you have gone through the data analytics, machine learning and deep learning concepts, you actually I will suggest that don't stuck in theory, hard on your hands-on training. And for that purpose, you should be well versed with a particular language that will help you to implement all these algorithms. So if you're going for any machine learning algorithm, if you're going for any deep learning algorithm, make sure you are not only reading the theoretical part, but you are actually solving that part using a particular language. Now, some of you might be scared of a programming language also, or some of you might not be good with the programming language also. But Here, there are some options that you can use to make your programming skills good in machine learning. So there are certain options in programming language like SAS, R, and Python. So most of the industry people, they might ask you whether you know these languages or not. SAS, R, Python. As a student, I won't suggest you to go for SAS, but because it is a paid version, so you won't be able to use the concepts of SAS for implementing machine learning concepts. The other two languages are Java and MATLAB. You can definitely write your machine learning program in Java language and even in MATLAB, but it is not going to, be that efficient, and you will literally get frustrated if you start writing your program in Java or MATLAB. The reason behind it is there is a huge code that you're going to write if you're going for Java and MATLAB. You will not get the flexibility to write or to implement your machine learning programs effectively. And that is why I will suggest you to go for R or Python. Now let us try to find out why R or why Python, or which language I should go for. So talking about R, now R is the tool which was designed and which was created by Ross Ihaka and Robert Gentleman. They were the statisticians and they created this tool for statisticians. So basically this is one programming language you can get versed with. Write your programs using statistical formulas. You can even perform data mining algorithms also. Data mining is similar like machine learning. You are applying all the machine learning concepts on your data to get the valuable information from the data, right? And this is quite okay, but I will personally prefer to go for Python, because Python is something which is also called as a general purpose language. So your R tool might not give you the application oriented solution or the end user solution for your problem. So Python is one language, or Python is one tool that can actually be used for many purposes. So it, along with statistics, mathematics, and your analytics, you can also use it for web development. You can also use for software development. You can actually use it for deploying your model to the production environment, and it is very easy to understand. That is why I say, even if you have a little knowledge of programming and you are average in programming, then also you can learn Python very good. And right now you can just note it down somewhere. I would suggest you, those who are not good with installation part, they don't understand that what software will help me to learn a particular programming language. There is a very good solution for those who don't find installation very fascinating. They can go for Google Colab. So what they can do is they can just type on their Google browser Google Colab, and they can simply start typing their program in Python. So there is no need to install something or see that if it is working or not, to set environment variables, nothing. You can simply start using Python using Google Colab. That will give you pretty much good idea that how Python works, and you can at least start with your basic Python concepts. So you can at least start learning about what is list, how to work with the dictionaries and all. So all these things you can start using Python. So I hope after this session you go and search for Google Colab. You will get Python notebook, online Python kernel that you can use to solve your Python problems. Now let us discuss about the life cycle of data science. So we will now, as I have already told you about the foundation of data science, now we'll actually see how the data science works in a business, particular business. So as I said, if you are hired as a data scientist in any business, the first thing is the stakeholders, the managers, the CEOs, what they will do, they will tell their business problem to you. They will tell that this is the problem we are facing, how to solve this particular problem. So the very first stage becomes requirement gathering, where you gather all the requirements, whatever problems, whatever challenges those people are facing. And on that basis, you start with data acquisition. So what you do in data acquisition, you start integrating that data. You start collecting that data from various sources. You might go through various databases. You might go through various social media sites. You might go from various places from where you will gather the data. And now this data is a raw data right now, because I am simply collecting it. I have not done anything, but I'm simply finding out the sources from where I can collect the data. So that is data acquisition. Once you perform data acquisition, the next stage is data preparation and processing. Now, in your entire life cycle of data science, this is the very important phase or very important step where you perform data processing and data preparation. Now, data preparation and data processing is something related to cleaning the data. You want to have a quality data, and how you will get a quality data? By cleaning the data. So there can be a lot of inconsistencies in the data. There will be a lot of missing values. There will be a lot of uh, null values in the data, which you have to solve, and which you have to clear in terms of sending that data for analysis. Because see, if I have a wrong data with me, and if I perform analysis on that wrong data, it is not going to give me a right solution for my business problem. So it is very important for me to make my data clean. So this process is called as ETL. Now it is also becoming obsolete because there are no various open source technologies that are used, and because of the big data term has entered in the industry. But for a very basic terminology, if you want to understand about data preparation and processing, it is an extraction and transformation process which tries to clean data. And there are certain tools which a data scientist should be aware of that will help him to clean the data. So you can use R and Python also to pre-process the data, which will help you to clean the data. So like you will find, is there any null value? So there is a function is null, drop NA. These are some of the functions that will help you to analyze, to clean the data. And yes, there are some commercial tools like Informatica and Talent. You should be aware of these tools also, and how these tools are useful in data preparation and data processing. Once the data is prepared, once it is processed, you send it to next stage, that is exploratory data analysis. Now what exploratory data analysis does? Now this is a stage where you actually refine and define your data. Means you actually try to make certain sense out of the data. That means whatever I have collected, whatever I have gathered, whatever cleaning process I have performed, what this data is actual data which is going to solve my business problem, or do I need to extract certain more features that are going to help me to solve my business problem? So it gives me a basic analysis of my data to check whether this data is correct or not. And once this data is correct, that means my data set is ready now to be analyzed further. I will go for creating a model, predictive model. So I will be using this data set to create the model, and this model will be created by separating this data into two parts. Some data I will use as a training data, some data I will use as a test data. Training data will be used with the model to make that model understand that how that data samples, how to generate rules from that data, and how to predict something. And then we evaluate its accuracy on the test data. So what I did, I prepared a data set, I sampled it into two parts. One I made as a training sample, another I made as a test sample. I created a model from that training sample. I trained my model on that training sample, and I found I found certain satisfactory accuracy is given by that model. What I'll do, I will try to check it on the test have done. You will be giving a good representation of your analysis. So you might be showing some graphical representation. You might create dashboards which will give you the analysis of your results, and that can be done. So data scientists should be aware of such tools like Tableau, Pentaho, Power BI, that can be used for the visualization purpose. Even in Python also, you should be aware with matplot library, seaborn library, there is plotly library that can be used with the visualization. And last part is model deployment and maintenance. So once you are confirm that this model is giving accurate results, you send it to the production environment, where you might store it into cloud, or you might send it to the website. And depending on the phases in the data science life cycle, there are various job roles that can be offered in the industry. One important is, I'll try to focus on data analyst. So if you want to apply as a data scientist, you might not end up as a data scientist as a fresher. You might get a entry level position as data analyst, and later on, according to the experience, you can get data scientist. Condition is, if the company is not too big or not new to the industry, then what you can have is you have a chance that you get a job as a data scientist there, provided you should have very good skills, you should have very good expertise in that particular area. And yes, there are other areas like data architect and engineer who work on actually building a data infrastructure or data management. So they take care of data management and the infrastructure. And as you over the time, as you gain experiences, you can move to machine learning engineer, AI engineer, data consultant, data industry experts, so on. I'll quickly go through the sectors where you can apply data science and business knowledge. There are various sectors. So Facebook, if you have attended yesterday's session also, sir has explained about deep-face technology. So Facebook is using data science long time back, 10 years back, when they started, collecting the data, gathering it, and, doing some advanced data collection. They had that vision of, connecting world together. So what they started, you started asking to tag the friends. They started giving friends recommendations. Right now, you automatically get tagged to a particular picture. Even you don't know, but you are getting tagged in a particular picture, saying that you might be there in that particular picture. Other example is recommendation engines. We have heard lot about recommendation engines, right? In various sectors like banking and finance, how you can use data science in that to find out some fraudulent transactions. If credit card transactions are going on, you have to find out whether it is fraudulent and genuine. How will you do that? So data science will come in the picture. In manufacturing, if you want to forecast demands, that what will be the production, what will be the demand for products, so that I can, start with the production of those products. In telecom, there is one word that is churn analysis. I want to find out why my customers are not satisfied. What is the problem? Which are the areas where I need to touch, and I want to analyze that data to understand why the customers are not satisfied. In healthcare, yes, lot of discoveries are going in healthcare right now, and data scientists, researchers, all people are working together to find out, drug for COVID-19. So that is one of the area which is majorly using data scientists and artificial intelligence engineers to work on the area where they actually will find out drug for COVID-19 and to, get certain information about COVID-19. Retail e-commerce, yes, you should go and search for Target use cases and Walmart use cases, how they are using customers' data to actually influence customers, purchase habits, how they can tell the customer that this is what you can buy, how they can give recommendations, how they can use personalized marketing. So this is all is done using data science. So I will just conclude that how you can become a good data science. So the very first thing you have to understand is you should be a very good detective. You should be very good in asking number of questions. You should be very curious. You should have exceptional judgment. You should have very good analytical mindset. You should be good with domain expertise. So choose an area where you are interested in and work on that area, work on some real company problems, and you will get a domain expertise. The last, which is not least and very important, you should be very good in communications, because however you're going to connect the dots, however, whatever analysis you're going to do on the data, if you're not able to communicate it effectively to your team members, that is not going to, give any advantage. So that is why it is very important for you to understand, to, have some good communication skills. And yes, if you can make strong impact on any business decision, then data science field is for you, and you should definitely go for data science. Sir, do I have time more, or shall I stop here?
Yeah, ma'am. You may stop here, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I request the participants to come up with any queries in the chat box so I can put it to the speaker. Madam, one of the queries is which platform to be used for integration?
You can, if you're working on big data, so you can use Hadoop and anything which is working with the big data, right? So you can go with that also. So integration, see, as I said, it depends on what kind of problem you have in hand, and whether you're going for, relational database, or, you're working on a big data, and on that basis, you can use whichever platform is okay for you.
Ma'am, one more query.
Yes. Google Colab.
Can Google Colab help in running ML libraries like TensorFlow and Pandas.
Yes. Google Colab has all inbuilt libraries, so you don't have to worry about installing all the libraries and taking care of all the dependencies and all. Google Colab comes with the library, so you simply have to import those libraries. And
one more question: when the data is there present, which platform should be used to get started with it?
See, it depends. As I said, it depends on the problem what you're solving. As a student, if you actually want to work for, say, machine learning, so I'll suggest you that start with the data sets. So there are a number of public data sets available. Okay, this is one slide, how you can actually create opportunity for yourself, which will help you to understand how you can actually build your resume. So how you can go ahead with. So as I said, please start revising your concepts and get certification in some of the language, and preferably Python. Python is very good for machine learning and deep learning concepts. And if you're going for your final year projects, because most of the students are in third year now, so they are going in their final year, so they have a pretty good chance of working on some machine learning algorithms and deep learning algorithms, and start building your knowledge on those projects. Find out your major role in those projects, right? And then you also have to work on GitHub and LinkedIn accounts, and you have to get internship somewhere where you can actually solve with real world problems. And there is one more important thing that you have to understand, that please make your account on Kaggle. There are around 20,000 databases available, or data sets available, which you can actually start working on. So get those data sets, start using Python, start analyzing those data sets, and start working on it. There are some good competitions in Kaggle that you can opt for Kaggle, and see what kind of competitions are there on machine learning or deep learning. And you have to get your concepts clear with all the libraries, frameworks, tools that you are using, and start updating your LinkedIn account, and start putting everything on your GitHub account. That will help you a lot to get job for data science, because company are looking for people who know about this, who know about machine learning concept, deep learning concepts. So please work on it. Mathematics and as I said, mathematics and statistics, you should not be very good, but at least you should be average with mathematics and statistics, because it will help you to analyze your data in a proper way. As I said, you will be able to find out the distribution of your data. What are the mean values? What is the average value? How can I find out the variance of my data? How to find out the standard deviation of my data? How can I find out outliers in my data? So there are multiple things that you will need to understand about statistics, that is going to help you in performing analytics on the data. So yes, mathematics and statistics is needed for understanding machine learning. See, data science is all about getting information from the data. I want to predict something, right? So I need to use certain concepts of machine learning or either deep learning to get certain knowledge from the data. And for that purpose, I'll be using machine learning concepts. So as I said that I have a huge amount of data, I want to dive into that data, and I want to find out the relation among various numbers. So if you are good with numbers, you can play around with the numbers. That is why I said, if you are good with maths and statistics, this is very good, because that is going to help you to analyze the data. So machine learning concepts are definitely going to be used for the data science, because I gave you certain examples, right? I want to find out whether my customer is not satisfied. So I might collect the information about the customers. I might go through the various searches he has done on the internet. I'll try to find out the relations between all that, and then I will apply some machine learning algorithm to find out, to predict that what I can do to fulfill the expectation of my customers. You can import TensorFlow libraries, you can use Keras, you can use all the libraries in Google Colab. So it is very good for you to understand Python using Google Colab.
Thank you so much for the enlightening sessions, and I hope the students must stand to gain a lot from this session. I once again thank you very much for the session.
Thank you, sir.
all,
thank you
and
so
I
much.
thank all the participants for being a wonderful audience. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you.